The WNBA expansion draft has happened. If you blinked, you missed it. They didn't really put much of a package together. They were just like, "Hey, here are the players. Here's where they're going." And the Indiana fans, bless their little hearts, and I mean that as a compliment this time, they are not happy. And for those who are upset that they are not happy, welcome to sports fandom. Winning organization fan bases are very vocal and opinionated, and that is a good thing. So why aren't they happy? Well, look, on the one hand, I will give the Fever this. They couldn't do much about it. It is not unexpected, but the fans are still making their voices heard that they don't like what happened, and it is part of a larger picture. So what was the deal? Well, you can see it right here. Chloe Bibby, selected by the Portland Fire. First of all, congrats to Chloe Bibby. I think that's great. Everything I've seen from her in terms of how she plays and her attitude and all that. Big fan. I like what she did when she came in with the Fever. I don't like how Stephanie White responded to what she did, but we'll get into that in a minute. So, yeah, they also lost Christy Wallace, and we'll get into that as well for a couple of different reasons. This is important, both in terms of the Fever and what they need for their roster, and also some interesting things about the fan base. By the way, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Truly appreciate all your support. Hope you're having a fantastic day. I will shout out the 19. And yes, do me a favor. I really, really do appreciate it when you do this. Just take a quick second to smash, tap, click, whatever it is you enjoy doing to the like button that is not banned in any of the states or countries where you might live. So anyway, let's get on to this. Subscribe as well. It's important. It really, really is. It matters to the world. Okay, it really does. So anyway, as you can see, Chloe Bibby gone. Fans, they didn't like it, including me. Oh wow, I have 71 likes on that. How about good for me? Yeah, we can never keep the good players who fit in with Caitlin Clark. That goes against what the Fever want to do. Yeah, it's a little bit snarky, a little bit sarcastic, because I understand there wasn't much they could do about it, but it just reminds us of the bigger picture with this current front office and Stephanie White. Why do these effing teams keep taking our piece players that actually fit our team? Last year it was Temi Bentley. Now this, yeah, and I didn't even realize that Temi had been mentioned, but I'm going to get to that in a minute because that's an important piece of this as well. You chose to keep Sophie over a good player. Wow, that's kind of harsh. Now we don't know. That's the protected players thing doesn't go public, but I don't think Sophie was protected because of the whole free agency thing. I thought it was unlikely that she would get selected because the team that selected her probably they didn't want to give her a super max, and they probably figured they would have to overpay for her because there would be more competition. Okay, so it's not as straightforward because I believe if they did protect her, that means they did not protect Michaela Timpson. And if that were the case, I guarantee you Michaela Timpson would have been selected by one of these two teams without a doubt. Fans wanted Chloe back on the Fever. Good luck, Chloe. My husband and I loved how you stretched the floor. That is key as well. Didn't fit coach's plan. Also key. We wanted you on the Fever. You will be great where you are going. Wish CC luck. Yeah, I will say this. Like any fan base, right? There are all kinds in fan bases. I mean, y'all are gonna agree with me on this when I say in Philly, we got some weirdos, we got some of the crazies that you apply to every Philadelphia fan. We've got fans that really have no idea what they're talking about when they talk about sports. All fan bases do. The Fever do. The Fever also have a core of fans that are very, very knowledgeable about the game, which you can see in these comments. Because we've already, just going through these comments, we covered a lot of stuff in my mind that I wanted to talk about. Which we're going to get into detail, but I just want to slide through these a little bit more. I'd rather be drafted in the Middle East, Portland. Yeah, here's a big part of it, I think. Personally, look, we all know there's a lot of personal involved in Caitlin Clark's treatment in the WNBA, and I think this is part of it. I think this is part of the reason Chloe Bibby came in, boom, first two games did very, very well, and then it took 4 games, so twice as many to get her the same amount of minutes she had in the first 2 games. Because the first 2 games she came in, she lit it up. She was very productive. In the first 2 games, she played 23 total minutes and at 18 points. I think she was. Let me just double check on the shooting. But yeah, 4 of 9 from 3, 18 points in only 23 minutes in the first 2 games. only played 14 minutes combined in the next 3 games, then had a game in 9, so it was 23 in 4. She is the prototype, the player that the Indiana Fever need at that position, someone who can play the forward position and run and stretch the court with the three. When you have Caitlin Clark on the court and you have a player like that, it is an absolute nightmare for defenses. Okay. And these Fever fans recognize that. No, she was a big body that could shoot threes. Exactly. Only Stephen White could not properly use her on defense and incorporate her into the offense. Young legs beat out old heads every time. Yeah, again, it not incorporating her is it effectively benching her basically after she had some good games and show what she could do is another knock on Stephanie White. Love Chloe. Best of luck. Portland is maybe find an apartment in the suburbs. Now get rid of the horrible coach that thinks Mitchell is the team's top priority. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna miss you. The Jinja Ninja. I like that. I like that. I have not heard that one before. Shout out. That's a good one. Please keep our three safe. But who else are we keeping among Sophie, Lexi, and KK? KK's under contract. Lexi's a restricted free agent, so unless she wants to leave and someone else offers her an insane amount of money, she'll be back. Sophie's the big question mark there. I like her. This is the last one I read. I want to get into some other stuff. I like her. She seems to fit in with Indiana. Made friends so well. God politics and all this sucks. Good luck, Chloe. Have fun. Blah blah blah. So also, I want to before I move on to one quick thing, I won't mention. But we also had Christy Wallace who left, and a lot of people forgot about her. I pointed out that I hope she does well. Good luck to her. Um, I'm sure I was critical of some of her play in 24, but overall, I think she got a terrible deal. I think Christy Sides threw her into the deep end without any help in terms of how she was utilizing her on that team. I think Christy Wallace is a better player than she showed because of Christy Sides, and I think that was unfortunate for her. So hopefully she goes to Toronto and she's able to thrive. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe Sandy is, unless there's a switch. National team coaches switch a lot in a lot of places, but I believe Sandy is Christy Wallace is national team coach for Australia. Let me know. So obviously that would be a good fit for her and why she was taken. Why are they taking so many Fever players? They only took 2. They probably intend to trade her to Chicago in exchange for 3 first-round picks. Yeah, right. Sandy is a lot smarter than Stephanie. She seems to be the tempo front office. The Fever front office is probably thinking to hire Natasha Howard again. Yeah, that's a problem. But congratulations to Christy. I know she had some personal issues. Hope she comes back and plays well. Congratulations. We're missing you. They got a good one. Best of luck to Christy. Fever girl forever. Good luck. And the reason I wanted to read that before we get into more of the basketball, this is all the nonsense that we keep hearing about how Caitlin Clark fans don't like Fever players, right? They only like Caitlin Clark. They don't like Fever players. Clearly, that's a lie. They like a lot of Fever players. They've fallen in love with players like Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell and Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham, and as you can see quickly with Chloe Bibby and also with Christy Wallace. Christy Wallace, and again, I think a lot of it was on Christy's sides, but objectively, if you look at her play, she was not good in 2024, wasn't on the team in 2025. Didn't play, I shouldn't say, but and yet here are all the fans wishing her well, hoping she does well, because that's the kind of fans they are, believe it or not. And I know. Last thing I'll add before we move on to play is people say, well, they're not very tan. That's why they like them. Right. Y'all don't remember the reaction to leaving Temi Fegbenley unprotected and having her go to Golden State? Y'all don't remember that? It was much more of an outpouring of love and disgust with the Fever here, because that was also a lot more of an argument of who you protect versus who you keep. Right. And a lot of people thought Temi should be one of the 6, and there was legitimate reasons for that. So that's also absolute nonsense. So just real quick, I just realized I wasn't even showing you. I was reading you the Christy Wallace stuff, but that's good enough, right? I wasn't showing to you. That's okay though. You don't mind. But yeah, so we've got here's Toronto. Marina Mabry is the one unrestricted free agent that they were able to draft. So I don't know. They might be looking to give her a max contract. She might be thrilled to get a super max. I'm sorry. She might be thrilled to get out of Connecticut. All right. Who wouldn't be at this point? And so that's the big one there. And then we have this, and I believe it's Bridget Carlton, who was left unprotected in Minnesota. That is the big unrestricted free agent. So it's likely that she gets a supermax offer, at least as well, to Portland. Let me just double check. So if we check out here, yeah, potential unrestricted free agents selected in expansion draft. There you go. Tempo Marina Mabry, Fire Bridget Carlton. Each team was allowed to select one potential UFA. And then this was kind of what I was going after. Right, Chloe Bibby lost highlights fever free agency need. So now it's where it gets big, and what they're getting at, like I said, right? She just gives us a different look than any of our other post players. Fever coach Stephanie White said after Bibby's debut with the team in July 27, Bibby shot 39.1% from beyond the arc in 9 games with the Fever before a left knee injury ended her 2025 campaign on August 17th. She shot 40.5% overall when you included games with Golden State. White raved about Bivvy's fit in the roster, particularly because it allowed Indiana to create space in the offensive end without sacrificing size on the court. Sometimes you'll see us go small with Sophie and Lexi at the 4. With Chloe on her roster right now, we don't have to do that. She has really good size, and she has that same ability to stretch the floor. The only problem with this is after those first big games, now she did get some minutes later on. Don't get me wrong. There were other games where they had to play Chloe for various reasons, but after those two I mentioned, right, she got the same amount of minutes. It took 4 games. She had a game where she played 6 minutes. She had a game where she played fewer than 3 minutes. It was almost like, hey, Chloe Bibby's doing these things that fit with Caitlin Clark. And I, Stephanie White, do not like that. I am not on board with that. So the other thing that this loss highlights with Chloe Bibby is what the Fever need to get, right? That I know this is why I'm trying to be fair to the Fever too. Like, we're going to complain because we like Chloe Bibby, and also she fits. And I get you can't do a whole lot about it unless you were going to let, say, Michaela Timpson go. But in the way the game is played today, and with Caitlin Clark, a 4 who can run and shoot the 3, aka a stretch 4, although I added the running. That's not really part of being a stretch. That's why I said the running is huge, huge to how well this team can how well this team can play and how good it can become and what it can do on the court to run other teams out of the gym. So now they have to find one of those players. Now, pretty soon, we're going to get into this free agency period, and it's going to be wild to see what they have because they do not have this type of player on the roster, right? We talk about a lot of teams maybe running everything back, but they do not have this on the roster, right? Michaela Timpson is not this. Brianna Turner is not this. They don't have a stretch 4 who can run. So it's going to be interesting to see if they prioritize that in free agency outside of the players who have been on the free agency. And then the other one, oh, by the way, Natasha Howard is not that. That is going to be a big indicator. I'm looking to see that. If they bring back Natasha Howard, I know we got big problems. We've got big problems because she just doesn't fit with Caitlin Clark. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe. You know the drill by now. Go have the day you deserve. I will talk to you later.